Hi, this is Carolyn, and I'm here with Aaron and Rachel. And tonight we're going to discuss exchanging lineups. Both Rachel and Aaron have captained numerous teams for a number of years. And you would think that exchanging lineups wouldn't be that big of a deal or you need any advice. But Rachel, could you give some advice to maybe people just beginning to captain about exchanging lineups?
Yes. So I have captained teams for a really long time. And my biggest piece of advice to anyone who's captaining or beginning to captain is to always have your lineups written down or put in your phone. Actually type mine up in the notes section of my phone. And then when you walk up to exchange with the other captain, make sure their lineup is written out. Don't just hand over your lineup and say, here it is, because some captains, if they're super competitive or if it's a tight season and one court makes a difference, they're going to look at your lineup. They're going to know who your players are more than likely because we play all the time. We play each other all the time, and they're going to quickly think on their feet and put people who they think will beat your lineup. And don't let them tell you, oh, well, just lay it right there. I just need to write mine up. I just didn't have time to write it up. I typically will just keep it to myself until I see that they have written it out on their piece of paper or whatever. So then what I do is we just kind of at the same time, show our lineups. And I typically, if they've brought it on a piece of paper, I read it out to them. And then I just take a picture of it so that I have it for score entry if we win the match. But yes, so don't let people tell you that they need to write their lineup up after they look at your lineup.
Yeah.
Yes.
Agreed. Can I tell a couple funny stories, Carolyn?
Sure. Go ahead.
This one just came to mind. I was captaining I don't know if it was a combo or a summer. I'm not sure what season it was. Actually, I do now. It was the spring season that all of us went to states and playoffs 3-5. And it was towards the end of the season. And there was a woman, a captain that came up, a little bit older lady, and she, was real nice to me, chit-chatting as we were getting ready to exchange the lineup. And I had mine probably written on a piece of paper or in my phone like Rachel. And she goes, all right, and we were the home team. We were playing at our club. She goes, who do you got on one? And I was like, what?
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like, it was kind of like we had established this relationship. We were just kind of chit-chatting back and forth, and it was real casual.
Yes.
Here's the key. Don't make it casual. So she says, who do you have on one? And so one single. So I think we were playing 2 singles and 3 doubles. And so I tell her, I think it was either me or, our friend. And then she's like, okay. And then she looks around the courts, like 3 different courts were warming up, and she goes, okay, I'll put me on one. Because what we figured out later was she sacrificed herself, but she was trying to get everybody playing the people that she wanted them to play. So instead of writing her lineup down, she literally asked me one by one, who do you have on one? Who do you have on singles 2? And then, maybe she had her doubles courts figured out, but they were trying to win it by playing it correctly, But I felt like I was duped.
Yes. And you were.
I was. I walked into it and I was so kind of shocked. And actually my next story too is just one of those like, I can't believe this actually happened, but I wasn't quick enough in the moment to fix it. So that one I just felt like she got this rapport with me and then all of a sudden just threw out a question that I like walked into answering, which I didn't want to answer. And that is not the correct way to exchange a lineup. The other one that happened, Carolyn, you were at this match. We were playing summer singles years ago, which, we always want every season to be fun, but I always feel like summer especially should be like this. It's warm out. It's only 3 courts, it's supposed to be fun, even though singles is competitive. And our teammate sat down on a bench and sat next to the other captain of the team. And we were friendly. We knew them. We knew, each team knew each other. And our friend had our lineup written out. And the other team's captain, I think she kind of looked over her shoulder or something, or she said, oh, I made a mistake. And she scratched out, a name or 2 and said, oh, I meant to put, so-and-so on court 1 instead. I accidentally put her on 2. And so she literally saw our lineup and then switched hers after. And that I'm sure is in a rule book somewhere that you are not allowed to do that. You come with a written lineup, you exchange it at the same time. right, Rachel? I'm sure there's like
I'm
a
sure
written,
there is.
yeah.
You're not supposed to do what that person did.
Yeah, exactly. And I will say, um, USTA matches specifically USTA has a system where you can print a piece of paper and write your lineup down and then your scores after, but write your lineup down on that piece of paper. And the nice thing is at the bottom of that, you can see all the players' names and what their rankings are. Sometimes I've gone into a season like early in the season where there was a person in the lineup that wasn't actually on the roster. Have you had that happen, Rachel?
Yes, and we actually have had captains accuse. They print all their sheets out at the beginning.
Oh, at the beginning of the
Before someone
season?
is registered, and then I had some captain come up to me. I can't remember if it was. I think it was after the match. She said, "Well, this person doesn't show up." I said, "Well, when did you print your lineup sheet?" And I said, "This person's coming late." And she said, "Oh, okay." I mean, she thought she had me. She thought we were going to have to default that court. But
Yeah. Yeah, because you actually have I feel like it's a long time sometimes to register, because I've asked people before that maybe you're injured at the beginning, like you ask usually a month or so before seasons actually start. And I've had people say like, oh, I'm not sure I can really play. And I say, if you're feeling better, you can register all the way up until, April 15th or, whatever the date is.
That's right.
So yeah, that woman was just organized, but then also thought she gotcha.
That's right. Well, I actually have a story about lineups and makeup matches.
Oh, yes. Those are brilliant.
Yeah. So unfortunately, we often have to make up matches due to rain. And what I've noticed a trend happening with many of on teams that I don't captain is that if a match is rained out, the captain will just give the other captain a list of the players that were supposed to play and say, work it out amongst yourselves. I am not in that school of thought. I think doing that, it can cause all kinds of problems. It can take you a month to make up the match. It discloses who you're going to play so that they can take advantage of it. If it's, again, a season where you're trying to get to states and you need your singles courts to win, you give out that lineup and they give out their lineup, and then they decide, oh, you know what? I think so-and-so can beat that person. Oh, you know what? I can't play that day. So that type of thing.
Because they can sub in our area, right? They can sub in our area for a makeup match.
Sub until you actually walk on the court. So I always get on the texting or the phone with the other captain and say, okay, let's find a day where we can play all the courts on the same day. Don't give out any lineups. So anyway, with that being said, a few years ago during combo season, we had a rain out. This captain wanted to get the names of my players. She didn't even want the players to make it up amongst themselves. She wanted me to give her the names of my players so that we could do a makeup match. And I said, I'm not giving you the names of my players before we do the match. And this was all through email. It was a screaming match through email. Like, I had to block her because she was being so angry and mean. I got the league coordinator involved. This woman was trying to forcibly make me give her names. Yeah. So in the end, I didn't. And the players, I just said 2 of my players will be at this location on this day.
Yeah.
So just the end result of that is don't let someone bully you into giving out your information. You don't have to do it. You don't.
Yeah. That's so true. Carolyn, I do see why you don't captain now, because I actually have other story. I forgot until Rachel said that. So in our area, we schedule like the makeup matches and exchanging lineups on our own. In other areas, one very close to us, local area, I love this. And I actually think this would be worth, changing the rule in our area. But in another local area, close to us, you actually send your lineups to the league coordinator and then she exchanges it with the other captain.
Interesting.
Which is just standard practice. And I love it. So there's no games being played, Rachel. You should captain in that area because you would like that. So yeah, you send your lineup in.
But can you still substitute at the last minute?
Yes, because here's the thing. So substitutions, the reason why we never see it really happen during, like, if we play on a Tuesday at 9:30, in the morning, let's say we're playing spring. So your 2 doubles players or singles players show up and your 3 courts of, so you have your 8 players there, right? You can sub up until like you walk on the court. Even if you've written your lineup out, let's say, Carolyn and I are on one, you and someone, if we could literally sub ourselves out up until the match starts, but nobody ever does that because nobody shows up to a match that they don't intend to play.
Well, not now, but I can name some names that used to
that might,
but I won't.
Yeah. So the physical act of actually getting to a match that you're not in the lineup, but you might want to like sneak your way into is not really going to happen. I mean, it could happen, but the chances are slim. The reason it happens in makeup matches is because, you can just make up any story that, my child has a doctor's appointment that day, so I'm going to sub in, our highest ranked player and put her on court 3 so that we can win this match, or whatever.
Right.
That's why that stuff happens. But so the other story I have real quick is, a couple years ago, because our area, we have to exchange, and Rachel, you may have had this happen to you before, but I have had captains say, let's meet in person to exchange the lineup. So as opposed to emailing it or saying, or texting it where it's like, okay, I'm going to, countdown, we're going to exchange our lineup at the exact same time via text. People have asked to meet in person, like at a Starbucks, and exchanged in person so that, you cannot play games and
well, and
people
that's
around.
Honestly, I'm not one to do the 1, 2, 3 simultaneously exchange. I think I've done it once in all the years because you heard the way I would prefer to do a makeup match.
Yeah.
I could totally, I don't think I would do that, but I can see why people would. I mean, it just depends on how much it matters for going to the state tournament. I think that's why people act the way they do. This competition at the end of the season causes a lot of this behavior that we see. So
misbehavior is a good word. So Carolyn, with all that said, give us your take and let us know when you're going to start captaining.
Oh, never. This sounds terrible.
She's wait. I logged off.
No, but I do have a question for you guys now. So Erin, if someone says the exact same situation happens again, who do you have on court 1? What would you say?
I would say I have my lineup written down. Let's show it at the same, give me yours and I'll give you mine. And if she doesn't, and she doesn't have it, she clearly didn't write it down yet. I would have her write it down and then exchange it. And I would have no problem doing that now, but it's because, I've been playing 9 or 10 years now. I've captained almost all of those years. It may have taken 9 or 10 years to get there, but I know when I'm being scammed now.
Yes,
exactly. That's what people have done that to me, and I just say, show me your lineup, and and you show me who's on line 1. I've got mine in my phone. It's typed up, and I kind of flash it at them so they can see, but not see the names.
Yep.
And that has worked perfectly. And I've gotten a few grimaces and huffs and puffs, and okay, let me, and then they're writing their lineup down.
Exactly.
While I'm standing there. It's funny.
Thanks very much to Rachel and Erin for discussing this. I know most of the time there are no issues when exchanging lineups. My husband captains, and he said sometimes men don't write down the lineups, but what he does is he always shows up with his lineup written out, and he just says, hey, I've got mine on paper, so do you want to tell me yours, or do you have yours written down? But all of this makes me really appreciate captains. Please check out our website, which is secondservepodcast.com. Thanks so much for listening, and hope to see you on the courts soon.